This is TechVibe Radio, your front row seat to Pittsburgh's technology and innovation ecosystem. TechVibe is brought to you by Compunetics at compunetics.com, Chorus Call at choruscall.com, Highmark at highmark.com, Huntington Bank at huntington.com, Kindling at thekindlingagency.com, PNC Bank at pnc.com, and Savier at savier.com. Here are your hosts, Audrey Russo and Jonathan Kirsting of the Pittsburgh Technology Council, coming at you from the Huntington Bank Studios. You're listening to TechVibe Radio. Good morning, Audrey.
Good morning. This is Audrey Russo.
I tell you what, it's Jonathan Kirsting here, and it's Sunday again. They keep happening. It's like every week we get a Sunday. It happens.
It is, every Sunday.
But today's Sunday is super special.
It really is. We have just such a timely guest in here. So we have,
the
new head of Carnegie Mellon's machine learning department.
Most definitely.
And, he's going to introduce ourselves in a minute, but he's been, out and about talking a lot about what's going on. So, I think people are overusing some of these terms, and I'd like to get inside of that a little bit.
Around all things AI, I mean, my God, I don't think there's a day you go by without hearing something about it, talking to somebody about it.
And then talking to people who think they know about it.
That's the worst.
Yeah, that's the worst.
But Zico Kolter is here.
We figured we'd get the master in
exactly
here
right.
and set it straight.
All right. Great to be here.
Good?
Yeah.
That sounds very good. Yeah, great to be here.
Thanks for hanging out with us this morning, Zico. You are the best, man. We're really excited for you. This is a great assignment for you here. I mean, head of CMU's machine learning department.
Yeah, it's exciting.
That's no messing around.
Well, so give us a little bit of your own personal narrative.
Yeah, and then we'll jump into what you're doing at
Sure,
Carnegie
yeah.
Mellon.
So I've been a faculty member here at Carnegie Mellon for 12 years now. I started in 2012 and been working this whole time, and I mean before I started here also, been working in machine learning. And these days, of course, machine learning is the technology that largely drives most of what we hear about when it comes to the advances of AI. And I know these terms are, of course, thrown around a whole lot. I'm happy to define those if it's useful as well. But I think that it's been honestly kind of a wild ride seeing the progress and development in machine learning over these past 10 years. And I am just thrilled with the possibility of helping to guide and direct Carnegie Mellon's machine learning department, where a lot of these advances that are powering modern AI were really developed or helped develop in a lot of cases. CMU, of course, is a fantastic place, kind of one of the epicenters of AI in the world. And so the chance to kind of be an integral part of the machine learning department there is a really amazing opportunity. I'm really grateful for it.
And so, did you wake up one day and say, this is what I'm going to pursue, this is my career?
I think, as with all things in life, I came across machine learning entirely by accident. And so
tell us about the
most of life
is
good fortune. It's and then realizing it when you get it. Sure.
So what was your good fortune?
Yeah. So I started out in college not planning to major in computer science. So I was going to be a philosophy major, and I actually ended up double majoring in philosophy and computer science.
Nice.
It's a fun tidbit.
I love that.
I know.
I like that.
Talk about interesting bedfellows.
Man, yeah, there could be some cool intersections going on there.
There are, but to be honest, So I mean, the story is that I started out in philosophy, saying, okay, I want to be, I love the kind of reading Plato and stuff like this, and sort of thinking about the nature of thought and stuff. I mean, it was basic philosophy. Let's not be too not overstated here. But I really liked it in high school and such, and so I went to college planning to major in philosophy. At the same time, throughout high school, I also did a lot of computer programming. I was pretty good at it, actually. I still am a pretty good programmer. But I wasn't going to major in it in college. And then pretty quickly I realized I fixed my mistake and said, yeah, okay, I'm pretty good at this. There aren't a lot of things that I'm particularly good at, but computer science and programming, that is one of them.
I like it. Playing to your strengths.
Exactly. And so in my second semester, I decided to major in computer science, and I took the intro computer science course. And it just so happened that the person who taught Intro to Computer Science in the second semesters, not the first semester, but the second semester, was a young faculty member named Mark Maloof at Georgetown University, and he worked in machine learning. And so after class, I essentially went up to him and said, hey, I've done a lot of programming before. I've sort of have a lot of experience with this. Can I work on some cool ideas? And working in machine learning, he recommended that I start working on some machine learning problems. That was now my freshman year of college, and I haven't looked back.
That's awesome. I love that.
But yeah, I mean, the point is, had I gone to college intending to major in computer science, I would have taken the first semester course with everyone else, had a faculty member doing something completely different, and who knows if I ever would have found my way to machine learning.
Well, there's a little destiny to be talked about sometimes, and it just happens that way, and that's pretty cool.
I like to think of it more as luck than destiny, or just randomness of the world, right?
Ooh, okay.
Well, you grabbed it, though.
Absolutely.
You
So of course, I mean, part of this is getting lucky, and then once you get that opportunity, running with it. But I think the spark of what causes most things ends up being luck in a lot of ways.
So now you're running this department.
Carnegie Mellon has really been central to the development of AI since the start of AI.
We actually found an article back in 1987 about AI at Carnegie Mellon as part of our In Technology magazine when we were doing some research at the Tech Council, which is so cool to know that, as Audrey and I always say, the 40-year overnight success story of AI. But CMU has been there the entire time and has been the recognized leader within that.
Absolutely.
Forever.
I mean, of a handful of leaders, certainly, but we are
Absolutely
the place where things happen.
Yeah, and that's why we're so excited, because you're the head of this machine learning, which underpins so much of artificial intelligence.
And so how are you going to build this? Like, take us through what you think the next 2 years will be like for you.
You mean how am I going to build the department, or how are we going to build AI?
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Two different questions.
Build the department.
Build the department. So I think there's a lot of things that you want to do as a department right now in machine learning. At a high level, what I would say is machine learning is undergoing a fundamental transformation right now. So the field of AI is, as you rightly said, exploding right now. And the role of academia in this area is honestly changing. Right? So I think that for a long time, this was a purely academic field. Mm-hmm. And the goal of academic research is you publish papers, you graduated students, they went to become faculty elsewhere, and they propagated the system.
Cycle repeats and keeps
Except
spreading.
we are on the sidelines saying, please commercialize something.
Yeah.
Make some
Please
money.
bring it to us.
And to be clear, I mean, I think machine learning was always pretty tied in with industry. So dating back to things like recommender systems, internet search, I mean, machine learning in some form or another was behind these innovations really from the get-go. However, we're reaching a new phase of this right now. We're reaching a phase where the world of AI has essentially taken hold the way the internet took hold. That's the best example I can give, honestly speaking, right now.
This inflection point that we're at.
Exactly.
Right?
We sort of reached a point where all of a sudden this field did more than just research. It entered the public consciousness as a technology. And what this honestly means is that we need to think about the role of universities and how we push the field forward in this time of massive upheaval. And so I don't think that we should stop doing the things we do well by any means, right? We have to keep doing research, keep educating students, keep all these things. But I think we do need, in many cases, for example, closer interaction with a lot of the state-of-the-art that's being developed in industry as well. We can't claim that everything interesting is happening only in academia anymore. There's a lot of really cool things happening in industry. And to run a department in machine learning in the current time, I think you need to find the right balance of research and productization, for lack of a better word, even though that's not our role at CMU, but our students can be doing it, of all this technology.
Fantastic stuff. We got to take a quick break. And in case you just tuned in, we are talking to Zico Kolter, who's the new head of Carnegie Mellon's Machine Learning Department. And when we come back, I want to learn more about some of the research you've done. You've done some groundbreaking research around large language models, the old LLMs that we like saying so much around here. Fascinating stuff. Keep yourself right here. This is Jonathan Kirsting.
And this is Audrey Russo.
And we are from the Pittsburgh Technology Council. Go to pghtech.org and learn all the ways the Tech Council can help your tech company grow and succeed. Every company needs to attract and keep talented people. To do it, you need a strong company story told by those who experience it every day, your employees. So invite your people to be your brand voice and let the Kindling Culture Agency gather and ignite your stories to engage and attract your people. Learn how at sparksomething.big.com. That's sparksomething.big.com. Let Compunetics manage your business's unified voice, video, data collaboration, and conferencing needs. Compunetics delivers the right solution every time. Learn more at compunetics.com. Your dial is set to TechVibe Radio, brought to you by Compunetics, Chorus Call, Highmark, Huntington Bank, Kindling, PNC Bank, and Xavier. Here are your hosts, Audrey Russo and Jonathan Kirsting of the Pittsburgh Technology Council, coming at you from the Huntington Bank studios. Welcome back. So glad you're listening to TechVibe Radio. Your front row seat here, what's happening around all things technology. And we don't mess around here, Audrey, because we bring in the best. We have Zico Kolter, the new head of Carnegie Mellon's Machine Learning Department. And before we took a break, we were just kind of getting into this mode where it's like, there's an inflection point now around all things AI and machine learning, and things are really starting to get bubbly. Frothy, dare I say.
Yeah, it's in everyone's conversation. There isn't a person that you run into, whether they're in academia or they're just, in a Starbucks. They're talking about it.
At a Starbucks, shooting it all about AI.
Yeah, I'm just saying they're all, everyone's
it's
talking
a thing,
about it,
man.
using it erroneously.
I have I've been in coffee shops also where I sit next to a group of people talking about how they would build ChatGPT differently if they were in charge.
So what do you think has really tripped the domino?
The technology that is behind the current trend of AI, which is largely based upon these large language models, but which, of course, is now becoming more general as well to vision models and things like this. This has been developing for a very long time. But in terms of what happened, it's not any one single thing. It's a seeming kind of confluence of a bunch of factors. What happened more or less is that over the course of the last 5 years or so, there's been a concerted effort to build larger and larger machine learning models that in this case sort of predict text, for lack of a better word. That's what large language models do. They predict text one word at a time.
It's almost like when you are doing a search, you start typing and it fills in the rest of your search for you.
It's exactly autocomplete. It's exactly what it is, right? And so we were building these models, and to be honest, I was shocked by what happened. And what happened is if you train a big enough machine learning model on enough data from the internet, basically predicting, essentially predicting an autocomplete function, you wind up with a system that certainly seems intelligent. And this is wild. And to be honest, I don't think we yet fully understand this. And if it sounds crazy to you, by the way, that's fine. It sounds crazy to me, too.
It does. I like when you say it seems intelligent.
Well, so, let's actually talk about this. So, again, to their point about what caused the inflection, was that we had been developing these models, making them bigger and bigger. They seemed to generate text better and better. And onto this scene bursts ChatGPT. And I think, of course, I don't want to make too big a deal of it because it was one line, it was one sort of product amongst a continuous stream of releases of similar things, but we also can't understate its importance either. It was the first technology that really showcased the power of these models in a very user-friendly manner.
Accessible, too.
Super accessible, right? It was just, you just go up and you start talking with it. And to be clear, there is some tuning after the fact. So after they train this big model to predict text, they then kind of condition it to be conversational in nature, is more or less what happens. But that's really easy to do. That last part's actually relatively easy to do. And it's a great story because it was released with no fanfare. There was no product manual. There was nothing, just a text box to start chatting with something. Oh. And people figured out you could use it. And the big thing I would say that really caused the inflection point, though, is that all of a sudden these tools were, for lack of a better word, useful. So a lot of AI systems have been around for a long time, and they were sort of good at narrow tasks, right? You could classify pictures of cats and dogs or pictures into different categories. Super useful for solving specific problems. But it required you to build an AI model. You had to basically know how to do machine learning, right? You had to have a PhD in machine learning from our department first to really be effective at doing these things. And what changed with large language models is all of a sudden anyone could leverage the power of AI to accomplish real tasks. Where real tasks can be as fun as, writing a story with your kids. That's one of the first things I did with ChatGPT.
Nice.
Right?
I love it. Very cool.
It wasn't writing emails. It was writing fun stories, right? They're fun. It's fun to play with. And all of a sudden, everyone could do that, and that just took off.
Yeah, it was like gasoline.
Yeah.
And so everyone had access to it. So do you think that the OpenAI and ChatGPT is what really unleashed the flywheel?
I'm not saying that it wouldn't have been something else if it hadn't been them, but I think we have to give them credit there.
Yeah, I think so too.
I would agree.
I think so too.
I didn't want to let Zico go without talking about some of his groundbreaking research around large language models, because that's what drives all of this. You got a couple minutes to tell us about that before we let you go?
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of my work, and to be clear, I actually work on a lot of topics. So my group as a whole works on many, many problems. Some of our most recent work that I think gained a lot of publicity recently was around large language models, and particularly it's looking at the safety of these models. So there's a really interesting feature of these models that I just talked about, which is I told you they were kind of conditioned to act conversationally. These models are also conditioned to act in a way that prevents them from, for lack of a better term, producing harmful information. Right? So if you ask ChatGPT how to build a bomb, it'll say, I won't tell you that. I can't do that. I'm a language model programmed to be ethical. And I personally don't care if there are instructions on how to build a bomb or how to hotwire a car or whatever else you want to do. Those exist on the internet, right? So it's not that this knowledge is somehow secret and locked away, but the developers of ChatGPT don't want the model saying that, right? They're trying to program it to not do this. And just like AI models are very different from normal programs, what our research showed is also this kind of safety programming doesn't work the way normal programming does. So in fact, we're able to construct seemingly random strings of garbled text that when you append them or paste them after a query, like how to build a bomb or how to hotwire a car, the model will go ahead and tell you how to hotwire a car and things like this. Mm-hmm. And so, again, the point of this research is not that this knowledge is somehow illicit to the point of being dangerous in and of itself. But the point is to showcase the fact that these models currently can't be fully programmed or fully safeguarded the way we would like them to be. And this becomes a really big problem as we start to integrate these models, not just as chatbots, but more and more into other systems, right? We want them to answer our email. We want them to process, documents we receive and legal documents, all this kind of stuff. And the fact that they can essentially be reprogrammed to disobey the instructions they were given means they're fundamentally different than programs we were used to and have to be thought of in very different ways. And that raises a lot of questions about the safety of these models, where they should be applied, when they should be applied, and this kind of thing.
Wow.
But aren't we seeing that right now with ChatGPT?
Well, so what we're seeing right now with ChatGPT is a relatively limited sandbox, I would argue. A chatbot can only do so much. You can use it, yes, to, maybe make things like targeted harassment and stuff like that if you can override its
Targeted
safety programming.
harassment?
Yeah.
You're giving me ideas now.
And I don't want to minimize that, right?
Yeah.
But it's not going to control the power grid and shut off the electrical grid, right?
Exactly.
It's not connected to everything. However, and this is the real issue, is that we are talking now about using LLMs to do more and more, to automate more and more. And I think the kind of vulnerabilities that our research really makes clear and exposes imply that if we want to use large language models for more than just chatbots, we really need to solve these more fundamental problems in the models themselves.
That's interesting. Wow. That's
Yeah, I mean,
what I'm
it
talking about.
is problematic. You can see it.
Oh, my goodness. What fun. Zico, first off, congratulations on the
Thank you
appointment.
very much.
I feel like the department's in good hands now, Audrey.
I think
I can sleep
so.
better.
I
This is
think we're in
cool.
good
No, fascinating stuff. Keep tuning in every single Sunday for conversations just like this here on TechVibe Radio. This has been Jonathan Kirsting.
And this is Audrey Russo.
We're from the Pittsburgh Technology Council. Go to pghtech.org and find out all the ways we can help your tech company succeed and grow. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks for geeking out with us on TechVibe Radio. Tune in next Sunday for more tech and innovation stories right here from Pittsburgh. TechVibe is brought to you by Compunetics at Compunetics.com, Chorus Call at ChorusCall.com, Highmark at Highmark.com, Huntington Bank at Huntington.com, Kindling at TheKindlingAgency.com, PNC Bank at PNC.com, and Savior at Savior.com. And we're always coming at you from the Huntington Bank Studios.